Hey OGs, happy Friday. I am a little early today, a little bit earlier than what I thought I would be. But it's turned into another busy day and this seemed like a good time to go ahead and do our ornament. So for those of you guys who may be watching this after the fact, after it's live, please just know that this is not going to be a full tutorial. I've been doing a daily peaceful pinning where we just make an ornament together, and it's not really a full step-by-step tutorial. However, we do have step-by-step tutorials right here on the channel, and I have linked below the pattern that I'm going to be doing today, which is the basic star. So you can find that link right below if you are interested in learning how to make these. We also have a lot of free resources such as printable supply lists, templates, and things like that. Hello, Robin. How are you today? Happy Friday. Hi, Kirsty. I think this is my first time seeing your name come up. Thanks for being here. And I'm doing good. How are you? Hi, Patty. Guys, today I'm doing a kit that we just listed today in the OG shop. I thought it would be fun to just do one of these kits. So I'm pulling up the picture of it so I can make sure I make it according to our kit. Because I haven't actually made this one yet myself. So let's get that up here. Bear with me for just a second. I should have done this before I went live. Just want to make sure I put the fabrics on in the right order, although with this pattern I could get away with flip-flopping layers 2 and 3 because they have the same number of pieces. Okie dokie. Robin says, I'm well and happy Friday to you and everyone. Hey Brenda. Brenda said, I love these tutorials and then forgot this morning. Well, here we are now. I'm glad you made it. Kirsty said, I'm good, thanks. I always miss the lives. Well, you didn't miss today, so that's great. I'm very happy to have you here. Robin said, it's so pretty. Rhonda, hey Rhonda. Hello Stacy and everyone. Ornament making along with you today. Oh, good. And what are you going to be making today? Brenda said, happy Friday, y'all. Patty, hey, yes, Patty. I mean, this is your first YouTube live, but you've been on our other lives. Deborah said, hello. Hey, Deborah. Teresa says, hello. It's Teresa Griggs from New Hampshire. I think I missed enrollment again. Oh, for the Ornament Girls Club. Yes, we did just close the night before last. I actually closed it officially yesterday morning because I forgot to close the cart the night before. So today I'm going to be making another 3-layer basic star, similar to the last couple that we've done. But this is a kit that we just put in the shop today. You know what? I'm so silly. I should have put a link to this in the description and I totally didn't think about it. And I will do that in just a few moments, guys. It's not often we have full basic star kits available. It's not really often we have kits available, actually. We're trying to do better. Like we had the angel kit last week and it's still available today. And then we have this one. We're trying to do better because people are constantly asking us for kits outside the club. I'm going to be starting with the red. Shirley said, hello from Ohio. Hey, Shirley. So happy that today is Friday. I'm really looking forward to the weekend. It's been a really busy week this week. Saturdays are my garden day usually, and I have a lot to do in the garden tomorrow. We had that cold front come through a couple days ago, and it killed off the rest of my tropical plants So I'm gonna have to do a lot of cleaning up tomorrow, but I'm kind of looking forward to it. I'm sad that some of those plants got killed, but at the same time, I'm ready for a refresh. So it'll be nice to spend the day out there, and it's supposed to be absolutely beautiful, so I'm excited about that. Brenda said, keep trying, Teresa. It took me 4 tries, but now I'm in both clubs. Good for you, Brenda. I'm sorry it took you 4 times, but I'm really glad that you finally were able to get in both. Hey, Suzanne. Rhonda is making a very old kit from July 2018. Watching you this past week has encouraged me to pull out the old kits that I've never made. Sad to say I have a lot that I never completed. Rhonda, I know it's not just you. We hear that a lot. People are piling up their little white boxes. And I'm really glad that you took some inspiration from these last couple of lives to get going on them. Sometimes that's just what it takes, right? Like they sit there out of sight, out of mind kind of thing. So it's nice though to get a little motivation and inspiration to get going. So I'm really glad to hear that. And just in time for the holidays too, so your timing is perfect. Patty said, how cold did it get? One morning it got to 35, which is very unusual for here. We occasionally will get that cold, like, you know, in the dead of winter, so like January or February, but it's unusual anyway, though. That's pretty cold, but it's really unusual for this time of year. And I still had some, something called roselle, which I had never grown before, and it's a type of hibiscus that I think is done, which I'm really sad about because it had just started producing. It waits until the fall to produce, and so it had just started producing, and now it's falling over. It looks like it had a really rough time. It was too tall though for me to really cover, so it's done. I got to pull all those out, I think, and then, or at least most of them, and then also I had some Seminole pumpkins, which is a tropical variety of pumpkin, so those are done as well. But it'll let me clean up and get things, you know, organized and ready for some cold weather things. So that it's kind of good in a way. Sally said, hi, OGs, happy Friday. Needleworker said, good day, everyone. Hey, Needleworker, glad that you made it today. I'm a little early, you guys, from what I said. I was all discombobulated. Right after we got off yesterday, I realized I would have to go on a little earlier than I said. And then I realized today that I'd have to even go a little more early than what I thought. So I was just all messed up. You know what, you guys? I'm not going to use this one. I'm going to use this one. Although 4 layers 2 and 3 in this pattern, you could flip-flop because they use the same number of pieces. Paulette said, hello from Northern California. Been an OG since June 2016. Paulette, that is a long time. That's amazing. Also in the Christmas Club since the beginning. Love. Paulette, thank you so much. You are an OG. Teresa said we can still buy the patterns from your site, or we can still buy the patterns from your site. Yes, you can, Teresa. The only ones you can't get are the club exclusive ones, but we have so many patterns. I mean, plus we have all the freebies here on YouTube too. We're in the hundreds of patterns at this point. So yeah, there's tons and tons to choose from. We can keep you busy for a really long time. Patty said, sorry about the loss of your plants. Thanks, Patty. You know, it is what it is. I really do think it's fine because I was ready for a refresh, I think. It's all the leftovers from the summer. So I'm ready to put in some winter stuff. The nice thing about Florida is you can grow like some things at least all year because it just really never gets that freezing cold. Suzanne said I had to cover all my plants in the yard. It got down to 36 here in Lakeland, Florida. I feel ya. Yeah, you're not too far from me. And that was just such a weird cold front. Oh, so the one day got to 35, back to answering your question, Patty. And then it was the next day, I think, was like 38. And then that's actually when we got frost, which I thought was weird. I guess maybe it has something to do with the humidity. I don't know. It was a couple of degrees warmer, but we got frost that day. But it's been slowly warming back up ever since. Deborah said, how do you keep from having a bit of the ball showing through on the first layer? Sometimes it takes me several tries. So that's a really good question, Deborah. When I get to side 2, I'll kind of demonstrate a little bit. If you're still here, I'll show you how you can fix that. There's a couple different things that you can do, but I also have a video about that exact question here on the channel. So that might be something that you can look up too that might help you. In fact, I think it's called How to Avoid Foam Gaps, something like that. So if you do a search here on the channel, you'll see that too. It's really a matter of making sure you get your pieces really close together here in the center. And then occasionally, like what you can do, like let's say you go to create your triangle and you're like this, but you have some foam showing. We always do that one pin thing to save on pins. You could, if you have to, spread them out just a bit like that. You can spread them out more, and that gives you a lot more coverage on the sides, but you'll have to use 2 pins at the bottom instead. So imagining that that was on layer 1, you could kind of spread your pieces out a little bit more to help give you a little more coverage. Paulette said, are you planning any ribbon-based ornament kits? Not really, Paulette, only because, well, there's a couple of reasons. Number one, you don't get nearly as much material out of a yard of ribbon as you do a yard of fabric. Obviously, it's just far less cost effective. The other thing is it's way harder to prepare that in bulk. So it just makes it a lot harder for us to do that here in the shop at scale. Compared to like those fabric kits, which we can really zip through cutting up fabric. Needleworker said it's when the wind stops that's causing frost a day or 2 after the first cold night. Well, that makes a lot of sense because we had tons of wind that first night. Okay, so thank you for that. That makes a lot of sense. Deborah said, super, thanks. Yeah, I will show you a little more when we get to side 2 and I get on layer 1 back there. Jeanette said, I'd seen on the news that iguanas were falling out of the trees. What it didn't say, are they okay after they warm up? I think it depends on how far they fall. I've never actually witnessed that. But I hear about it. We don't really have iguanas too much here. I'm a little too far north. Oh, I missed your comment, Patty. Hang on 1 second. I'll go right back to you. We don't really have them this far north. That's a little further south. I think if it's a small fall, they're okay. Patty said, I really need to see you slowly make each fold. Could you tilt the ball so that we can see where you place each triangle line before you place the pin? So Patty, this live stream is more of a just kind of pin along. That's why I'm going not as slow as I would on a normal tutorial. This is just kind of to inspire you, give you ideas, and ask questions if you have any. But that's why I'm going a little bit quicker than what you would normally see. But this is the basic star pattern, and we do have the basic star workshop videos right here on the YouTube channel too, if you want like more of a step-by-step. I'll try to slow down a little bit though, because I know I can get going a little quick, especially when I'm yapping. These colors are really pretty. Oh, and you know what? I did put the Basic Star workshop link actually right in the description too, if you want to save that. And it's a 3-part series and it goes pretty slow. In fact, in my opinion, it's painfully slow. It's I think it's the first videos that I did here on YouTube. So it hurts me a little to go back and watch it. Deborah said, yes, love these colors. I do too. I think it's really nice. Thank you. Already at the last layer on side 1. Jeanette said, this is so cool. Thanks, Jeanette. Patty said, thanks. I'll go check it out. Awesome, Patty. Suzanne said, those colors would look good with that 4th thin layer. Will you be doing any of them in the future? Yep, I sure can. I was doing the 4-layer ones last week, and I think I did one at the beginning of this week too with the ribbon, but I can definitely do a fabric one soon if you guys would like. I go back and forth sometimes between the 3 layers and the 4 layers. Just kind of depends on what I feel like doing. I was in a 3-layer mood for the past couple of days, and then this one just happens to be 3 layers because this is the kit that we just put in the shop today. So I thought I would do this kit today, and just so happens to also be a 3-layer. Jeanette said, is this just a cotton fabric? Yeah, it sure is. It's just quilting fabric. I actually don't know what fabric this is. I need to look on the listing and see. This one here almost looks like a Moda, but I'm not 100% sure about that. But this one I don't recognize. It's really nice though. It feels good. Deborah said, I have to measure each time, and I've made quite a few of these, but I'm curious as to what you're using as a guide without using a tape measure. I'm just eyeballing, Deborah. And sometimes I do still measure, like sometimes I need to, and I am an eyeballer, but sometimes because I'm eyeballing I end up making mistakes and it looks a little wonky after I'm done. So it really is just a matter of, I've made so many of them, like that's just kind of how I tend to do it. But not for all patterns. I would say the Basic Star is the one that I'm the best at eyeballing. Suzanne said, is it in the shop? I need to go shopping. Yeah. Yes, we just listed it today. I sent it out in today's Finished Ornament Friday email. Let me grab you the link really quick. I meant to put it in the description before I started, and then I just totally forgot. Oh, Sarah has popped it into the chat. I also just popped it into the chat. So we both just put the link to the to this kit in the chat. Patty said, I like the shade of these Christmas colors. Yeah, they're pretty. It's very like deep colors, really elegant. Patty said, hi, Sarah. We're going to have Sarah doing this too soon, guys. She's going to be getting on here doing some lives as well as Kennedy. We're going to try to keep up this daily rhythm, jumping on here once every weekday. On my side too, I think I'm going to make my star a little tiny bit smaller, and then make my second layer just a tiny bit bigger. I was trying to go more even spacing with these 3 layers, but I'm not sure that I really like that. So I'm gonna, I mean, I don't really dislike it, but I feel like I wish I would have went a little bit smaller on the red star. Then again, I haven't put the embellishments on either, and that can change things a little bit as well. So we'll see. So there's side 1 already. Okay, so we were talking earlier about making sure we don't get those foam gaps. The number one most important thing is when you go to pin these into the center, really get those pins like into the center. As a matter of fact, I hope you guys can see this, and I might maybe need to zoom in just a touch so you can see it a little bit better. But when I've got this laid down, the pin itself is in the very center where all the lines are converging, but the top folded edge of this piece of fabric is actually overlapping that line. It's not even with it, because when I go to create my triangle and fold it down, that's what's going to keep the tip of this staying in the center. And the more the tip of each triangle, the closer it is into the center of the ball, then the less of a chance that you're going to have the foam gaps when you've got all 4 pieces in place. And then the other thing too is this overlap here. You want this overlap from the left and right sides of the triangle to be as little as possible and still be able to get 1 pin down through the center. So I'll show that here on this next piece. And just to make it a little bit easier to demonstrate, I'll pin through this piece before I put it on the ball. So there, it's ready to go. When I go to pin this, I'm letting my pin touch the tip of that the first red triangle. I mean, it's like right up against there. I'm not piercing it, but I am not leaving any space between my pin and that tip of that triangle. And when I push down that piece, you can see that it's actually overlapping the tip of that triangle. And that's okay, because when I create this triangle now by folding down the left side and the right side, that overlap, it's only right there at the tip. And it's like all but disappears. And then again here, I want this overlap between the left and right sides to be as little as possible. Just enough to get 1 pin to hold down both sides. So I'm really like trying to leave myself as little room for foam to peek through as possible. And I'm going to do the same thing with these. I want my pin to be right up in there, as close as I can get it. Now, if for some reason, like right here, if I go to overlap and I've got some foam showing, just spread those sides apart a little bit. Spread the left side more to the left and the right side more to the right. And you can usually cover the gap like that. I think I can still hold down both sides with one pin, but if you need to, you could always put 2 separate pins to hold down those 2 halves. And then one last tip, if you've got that foam overlap, is instead of pinning straight down in, when you get your pin up in there in that spot, you can actually take your pin and angle it so that it's actually going down towards you a little bit. Look, I got a gap right there, guys. And that's going to give you even more coverage at the left and right sides. So does that make sense? Hopefully that helps. I do have a better video which kind of goes through all the ways that you can fix foam gaps separately, like I was talking about. So I'm actually going to fix this gap a little bit. I think it would probably just disappear on its own when I go to put my next layer on. But just to demonstrate, what I'll do is I'll just pull the left side over just a little bit more. Nope, no tip on that pin. And there you go. So hopefully that helped. Patty said, yay, I'll get to watch every day as my back heals. Can't wait to finish the family's ornaments. Patty, I hope you have a very speedy recovery. Deborah said, hey, Sarah. Hi, Sarah. Phil said, happy Friday. Hey, Phil. Happy Friday to you, too. Teresa says, finally got my notification before you were finished. Hello, everyone. I'm glad to hear it, Teresa. It's so hit or miss, isn't it? Okay, so for this half, I'm going to experiment with making my star just a little bit smaller. Of course, Patty, you're welcome. Teresa said, love your fabric choices. Thanks, Teresa. This is the kit that we just listed today, and actually I meant to look and see what fabrics these were. Let me check it out really quick. These fabrics are I accidentally clicked off of where I was. One second, let me see. Okay, they are, we've got Moda Solid. The red is the Moda Country Red. We have the Holly is a Riley Blake. Okay, so I had thought it might be Moda, but it's not. It's Riley Blake. And then the green is Maywood Studio. So we got all kinds going here. They're really nice. They're super, well, they're premium quilting fabrics, so they just have that luxurious feel to them. Easy to pin through. That's what we like. Pepsi said, hi, better late than never. That's right. Glad you made it. You are welcome, Deborah. I hope that helped. Before we click off here today, before I sign off on this live, I'll try to find that link to the video that I've got dedicated to that. Yeah, Teresa, this is a kit. That's not a club kit. I was just saying that a little while ago too. It seems like we don't really have kits very often that are not club kits. It's just hard to get extra other kits made because the club keeps us really busy, but people are always asking. So we have a couple of kits available right now. We've got this one and of course the angel. We have a couple of the Whimsy angels left too. And I did put a link to that in the chat, and so did Sarah. It's just above, not very far up. I totally forgot to put it in the description before I started, which was ditzy of me. Kelly said, oh snap, I missed my notification. It is so hit or miss. It is so hit or miss with these notifications. They aren't trustworthy. Deborah said, what again was the last one? You mean the last fabric? It was Maywood Studio. The green is Maywood Studios. I'm going to grab that link again for you guys. Oh, Deborah said I ordered the kit. That's awesome, Deborah. Thank you so much. Teresa said, I got Whimsy the other day. I think I now have 3 or 4 of the angel kits. Don't think I've got the 4th of July angel though. Yeah, and those were from years ago. But Whimsy was a remake of our very first angel kit, so that was a really good one to get. And we've got a couple more in the works. We've got another Christmassy one coming up soon. I think I don't know exactly when. It's within the next few weeks though, I believe. Okay, Deborah said yes. So yeah, it was Moda. The red is Moda. The holly was Riley Blake, I believe. Let me check. I hope I'm not mixing them up. Yeah, the holly is Riley Blake, and the green is the Maywood Studio. The Riley Blake one is called Christmas is in Town, and the Maywood Studio one is called Christmas Night. So they just sound Christmassy. Yeah, I like that slightly smaller star a little bit better. Teresa said, yeah, I missed Whimsy the first go around, so I'm glad I got it this time. I'm glad you did too. The first time she sold out really fast. And we had, I think at that time, because I really wasn't sure how they would sell, we had only made 100 of them. And it was gone within like a couple hours. Then when we did the follow-up, not the Whimsy ones, but the other angels back then, and this was like, what, 5-6 years ago, I think. All the other ones then went out in minutes, and I think Liberty was one of them, and I did her in 2 batches. That's the 4th of July one, and that one was gone in just minutes. It was crazy. I couldn't believe it. Suzanne said there are a few new fabric bundles in the shop. Yeah, there are. There's a Christmas one. We've got some Christmas ones coming too, which I'm really excited about. But there's one that we just put in there today with a deer print, and that one's really, really cute for Christmas. I feel like we don't have as much leftover Christmas fabric as other fabrics because we do so much more Christmas stuff in the shop for the kids and stuff like that. So whenever we have the Christmas themed fabric bundles, they tend to go a little quicker, and it seems like we don't have them as much. But we're trying to fix that. We're trying to start carrying more of the fabrics. We were talking about that yesterday, about, you know, just the fact that since Joann's is not around anymore, and since Michael's doesn't seem to have really picked up the slack as much as, at least not yet, as much as what we were thinking that they would, we're trying to get more fabric available in the shop. We really just have a space issue in the shop. We are busting at the seams. So it's just a matter of storing it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just do a little trim here. This is really pretty. The red in the middle is really vibrant. I mean, it's not even the bright red either. It's the country red, but it just looks so vibrant with the rest of these fabrics, I think. Teresa said, yeah, I remember. Yeah. It was crazy. That was crazy town with those angels. We had a lot of people that were pretty mad at us because they sold out so quick. And I want to say with Liberty, that one I had even made, I believe, a couple hundred of those kits, because by that was like the 5th one, I believe, and by then I was trying to learn my lesson and make more, but they just went so quick. Suzanne said they were very hard to get. Yeah. It was fun, but it became a little bit stressful because like people were pretty upset about not being able to get them, and I ended up just sort of stopping them for a while. And I kept thinking I need to get back to doing those angels because people did love them. I didn't want to let, you know, the negativity part of it like be the thing that, you know, decided it. So, but it just also time kind of got away from me. But Olivia here in my shop, she's my shop manager, she kind of has revived them now because she just absolutely loved them and started making them. There was angels popping up all over the place in the shop. So she got excited about it. So we decided, yeah, it's time. We're going to revive these guys. And they've got quite a few in the pipeline now, and I'm excited for you guys to see the ones that are coming up. Especially our little series that we have starting in January. Julie said, hi all, I received an email yesterday that Connecting Threads is having a sale on fabric. $3, $5, $7 a yard. Especially I was going to say those are good deals, but especially $3. That's a really good deal. I've ordered from them many times without any issues. I did not notice any Christmas fabrics. So connecting threads, guys. Robin said, I'm a little late to the live. I was a little early getting started, Robin. I was a little earlier than I thought I would be today. But better late than never. Teresa said, that is so silly. I did want Liberty really badly. I know. You know, most people were very nice about it when it didn't happen, when someone didn't get something. But there was just a few that were very, very upset. And the thing is I get it. I just don't like, I don't like upsetting people, especially, you know, customers that have been, you know, with me or in the club for a long time. I hate disappointing people like that. So yeah, it's just that, you know, with us, we're still pretty small. Between doing all the club kits, which is a couple thousand a month altogether, and then running the shop and everything, sometimes it's just hard to be able to make 1,000 kits of something else, you know, on the side. So Suzanne said, I can't wait for them to start in January. I can't wait to show you. I think you guys are going to like them. They're really cute. Okie dokie. So now we've got the band. Hey Alice. Alice said, hi, I've been listening and ornaments, but neglected to sign in. I'm still enjoying using ribbon since you introduced the idea the other day. I'm really glad. So are you making them with the ribbon? Have you tried making one yet? Really? I'm just hoping to inspire you guys to want to get going. I know that we were talking about this just a little while ago, but I know that sometimes the projects can pile up and they can sit there and it can kind of feel hard to get started sometimes. And these do look like they're way harder than they actually are. You kind of want to pull this tight, like pretty tight, so that it's nice and snug and it doesn't look like poofy when you're looking at it from the side. And I know I always say this in the tutorials, but you also have to be careful you're not pulling it so tight that you distort the fabric. And that can be a thing too. Like I'm looking at mine right now, and like I pulled it pretty tight and you can actually see some of my bumps and stuff. So I'm going to just press on those a little bit and try to smooth it out. This is a really nice feeling fabric though. It's super soft. I really like it. I'm gonna get a sip of my coffee really quick, you guys. Gretchen said, how in the world did I miss the beginning again? It's the YouTube gremlins. They don't like to give notifications at the right time. I'm noticing. It seems like more often than not, people are not getting the notifications. So that's a bummer. But better late than never. Teresa said, I'm excited for them. I'm glad, Teresa. I hope you guys like them. They have a specific theme. We have the one little series coming out. It has a specific theme, but we also have more coming of just the random little designs and fabrics and stuff like that. So Julie said, it always upsets me when people get upset with you over silly little things like a kit or getting into the club. Like you said, you are a rather small group. Yeah, it's kind of like a double-edged sword because I'm happy that people want to get in. You know, part of that's part of having the business. You know, I'm happy when people want to be a member and stuff, but yeah, we can only do a little at a time. It seems like whenever we have club openings. And one of the biggest factors with the club openings is since we have to plan so far ahead with our fabrics, we like we know we know what set number of kits we can make a year in advance. So if there's only like 300 kits extra, there's only 300 kits extra, you know, like we can't make more than that. So it's a thing, and it is a little bit upsetting. But thank you. Gretchen said, I made 3 pinwheel ornaments today. Love them. Gretchen, you are on a roll. All the snowmen, now the pinwheels. Those are addicting, right? Because they go so quick. Oh, Gretchen ordered the kit today. Awesome. I'm so happy. Thank God for the replay. Yes. Yep, and they're going to stay up. So they're there for you anytime. Alice said I've made 6 4-inch ornaments so far. I've just gotten the 3-inch foam, so I'm good to go. All right, awesome. That's right. We were talking about the 4 inches yesterday. Patty said, when I have bumps, I roll the ball on the table. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. I've never even thought of doing that. Robin said, just ordered your 3rd book. Thanks, Robin. I'm so happy. Thank you. Deborah said, I made the Rudolph ornament. OMG, it is so, so adorable. I'm so glad you love it. That one is adorable. The Rudolph and the Clarice are just the absolute most cutest things, and they're based on this basic star pattern. So it's like the easiest thing other than just the embellishments. It's really just the only change is those embellishments. I had a set of Rudolph and Clarice, and they were sitting in my office for a couple of years. And last year I had them on the tree. I moved them from my office to the tree. And the day that I was putting my tree away, they stayed safely on my tree the whole Christmas season. And the day I was putting all my ornaments away, my dog Ivy got Clarice off the tree and did enough damage in the 2 minutes before I caught her that I have to completely remake it. She just destroyed it. I was so sad. Brenda said, this fabric makes a beautiful ornament made up together. Thank you, Brenda. I think so too. I really, really like this. It's very elegant. Teresa said, hi, I love it. The YouTube gremlins. Yup. It's real. It's real. Okie dokie. So we have some ribbons. Since I've been doing gift bows, I'm going to follow the picture here, and I'm going to do 3 loop and pin bows instead of doing a gift bow. But with these ribbons, you could do either. And I'm going to start with the red. Let me look at the picture. I'm following the picture. This is the one that I believe Kennedy made this one. And I had not yet made it yet. So this is my first time doing this kit. Yep, she used red first. Also, I think the red will be nice right up against the green outer layer. Brenda said, what we do without our fur toddlers. I know. And with these ornaments, you know, the first worry, of course, is like, what did they eat? You know, especially when it's full of pins. You really got to keep these away from the pets. And I don't know why she ignored Clarice for the entire season and everything was fine, and I let my guard down. And then here I am putting away all the other ornaments, and she was like, oh, that one looks good. I have a little excess here, so I'm just going to trim it. Not enough to do another loop. That is really pretty. It's just about a perfect match to the red fabric. Deborah said, I haven't made the dough yet. I don't have the tan fabric for her or ears. Yeah, you kind of have to find the right color, I guess. But I feel like you could get away with Um, Probably multiple different kinds of shades of brown, honestly. I think you could have fun with that. I don't think it has to be really, really super specific or be exactly like the one that we used in the tutorial. And I've seen a lot of different ones pop up in the Facebook group using all different kinds of fabric. I think the main thing with that fabric that we did in the tutorial, we used that slightly fuzzy, like the fleecy, it's like not true fleece, but it's like a thin cotton, but it has like a fleecy look to it. That was really cute. And so that's kind of a thing to find. But I've seen people make them without that. You could just use a regular cotton. Brenda said, pins. My husband goes basket case if he finds one on the floor. I know. I used to sit on the couch all the time making ornaments. I can't do that anymore because of my dogs, because they just get in my face. You know, they don't like to leave me alone if I'm sitting in a spot where they can possibly get on my lap. But I did used to sit on the couch a lot, and I would find pins down in the cushions constantly, which doesn't give you the warm and fuzzies. Needleworker said, I'm still here, just have a few other things going on in between. You keep making my shopping list longer and longer. I'm sorry, Needleworker. I am sorry, not sorry. But these make such good Christmas gifts. So there's that. You have that excuse. And we are coming up on the holidays. Deborah said, Brenda, so does mine. Oh, you're in good company, Brenda. Robin agrees too, and Julie agrees too. I am just shy of a loop here. I'm gonna have a baby loop on the end of that. That's pretty. So you could do either this kind of bow like I did, or you could do like what we've done in the past couple of days where we did the mixed gift bow. This one doesn't want to sit up straight. Here, I'm going to use a little bowl, and we'll go ahead and do a hanger. We've got a green string in here for this. You guys, some of you have probably got our fabric bundles, but we always tie up our bundles with a couple of different colors of string. In fact, let me show you. I've got some right behind me. Here's the one that we put today. I want to make sure I don't accidentally show one that I'm not supposed to show yet, but here's one of the ones that we listed today. And so we tie them up with the string, and then you can cut this into pieces and you'll have multiple ornament hangers. So that's one of the little cool things that we like to do with the fabric bundles. And that's the same kind of string that I used for this. I'll put that on in a second because I think I'm going to be using one of these little bead caps for the top also. And I'm just gonna, these little bead caps are so tiny and they're very pliable. I'm just flattening it out just a teeny tiny little bit. Really just pressing it between my fingers is enough. And I will pop on one of these little red rhinestones. And then put on this bead cap. Very, very cute. Very tiny, not a whole lot. We're not going for a lot of bling on this, but just enough to give it a little sparkle, a little touch of something special. Needleworker said, getting there. Yep, it's coming. Gretchen said, that is gorgeous. Thank you, Gretchen. Robin said, it's very pretty. Thanks, Robin. And Needleworker said, another beautiful piece. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate that. All right, there's side 2. And I'm going to use the last one here to put on my hanger. Looks like I have a spare in here too, so I'll just keep that for something else. Needleworker said, I have tons of beading supplies from my jewelry making days, so I'm good there. That's perfect. It is so fun to go through your old stuff or even old jewelry, you know, that you don't use anymore and find things to decorate with. I think we were talking about that when we were doing the Prairie Point pinwheels. Like, I've seen people put like old vintage brooches and things like that in the center, and it's so cool. Robin said pins and Lego bricks. Yep. Carol said the cherry on the top, very elegant. Suzanne said, just got my whimsy in the mail today, so excited to make her. I'm so glad you got it. That's awesome. You have a weekend project now. Rhonda said, I really love the colors. I need to practice making prettier bows. Yours always looks so perfect. Yeah, practice makes perfect, Rhonda. But you know what? I feel like with the bows, and I'm sorry if I sound like a broken record, but your loops don't have to be perfect. Once you layer them together, you almost can't see the imperfections. If they're not all the perfect, if the loops aren't all perfectly even with each other, you can't tell once you layer them together. And I like a little bit of imperfection with the bow, to be honest. So hopefully that helps. Deborah said, clapping, clapping, clapping. Thanks, Deborah. Luna said, gosh, I missed it. Caught the end. I'm sorry, Luna. I'm sorry. We'll be back on Monday. I have something fun I'm going to do with you guys on Monday. I'm not going to tell you yet which pattern because it's our challenge pattern. So on Monday morning, we're sending out the next challenge email. I think we're on, is it week 8? Week 7 or 8? Gosh, I can't remember now. But it's it's one of our freebie patterns. I'll tell you that. And I'm going to make it with you guys on Monday. So that's exciting. I hope you guys will join me for that. Make sure you're signed up for notifications, although I think we've established that the notifications don't always work. And unfortunately, I do not know what time I'm going to be on here yet. But if I can figure that out a little bit ahead of time, I'll do a post here to let you know. Teresa said, I love it. Beautiful. Rhonda said, sorry for the typos, autocorrect stinks. Oh, don't worry about that, Rhonda. I try to parse through. I usually am able to figure out what you're saying. Sometimes I'm not because I'm kind of ditzy, but I'm trying. Luna said, beautiful. Patty said, lovely bows. Thanks, guys. Needleworker said, crafts are not about perfection. It's about the journey and satisfying yourself. 100%. I'm going to have to start clipping your comments, Needleworker. You have very good takes. Thank you. Kelly said, I love those Monday morning emails. Kelly, thank you for saying that. I'm so glad to hear that. Thank you. Florence said, beautiful. Thank you. Have a nice weekend. You too, Florence. You guys enjoy your weekend. I'm so glad it's Friday. It has been one of those weeks. It's been so busy. So I'm planning to enjoy the beautiful weather outside tomorrow in the garden. I hope you guys have something fun planned too. And maybe some ornament making, guys. Alice said, pretty. Thank you. These peaceful pinnings are fun. Thank you, Alice. I'm enjoying them too. I'm glad to hear that you are. Suzanne said, remember to click the like button. Suzanne, thank you. Yes, guys, please click the like button if you enjoyed this. It really helps me out and it lets me know that you liked it. So thank you so much. Jeanette said, beautiful. Gretchen said, you too. Thanks, Gretchen. Needleworker said, everyone have a great weekend. Happy crafting. Teresa said, thanks so much for doing this. Thanks for being here, Teresa. Phil said, another beautiful creation. Thank you, Phil. Deborah said, thanks so much. Marilyn said, very pretty. Suzanne said, it helps with the notifications. If you hit the like button, you mean? Okay. I think that if YouTube sees that you're interacting, I mean, at least this is kind of the vibe I get, that if you're interacting or you like things, it tries to show you more of that creator. So yeah, maybe that will help if you hit like. Plus with your comments, guys, I'm sure that helps too. Luna said, enjoy your weekend. I love these live videos. Thanks, Luna. Rhonda says, hope that you all have a great weekend. We have our first event this weekend. We play Santa and Mrs. Claus. That's awesome, Rhonda. Oh, that's the coolest. I love that. Have fun doing that. That's amazing. Suzanne said yes. Okay, so yeah, that's cool. Hopefully that'll help with the notifications, guys. Rhonda said, and thank you for doing these videos. Enjoy them so much. Thanks, Rhonda. You guys, I'm going to aim for Monday afternoon. If, like I said a minute ago, if I can work out more of an exact time that day, then I'll try to let you know ahead of time through a post on YouTube. Tentatively, I'm guessing it'll be at about that same kind of time frame, like the 2-ish, 3-ish o'clock Eastern time frame. Okay, that's what I'm going to aim for. If that changes, I'll try to let you know as much as I can. I do feel like as I'm settling in that the afternoon is definitely a better time for me. I was trying to kind of fight with my schedule for the last week and a half or so, trying to get them in a little earlier, but I think I need to just not fight the schedule and just try to do it in the afternoon when I've gotten some other things out of the way. That way I can just kind of relax and be here with you guys and make the ornament. So anyway, guys, I will go back and add a link to this kit if you're interested into the description. It is in the chat, but I'll put it up in the description. Otherwise, I hope you guys have an amazing weekend. And I will see you on Monday. Patty, thank you. I will. And Suzanne said, have a great weekend, everyone. This was fun. All right, guys. Have a wonderful weekend and happy ornamenting.